Then, welcome back. Now let's go to our next story. You know, the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAAC, has confirmed the disbursement of a total sum of 907.05 billion naira amongst the three tiers of government for the month of June 2023. The figure represents a marginal increase of 120 billion naira compared to some 786.16 billion shared in May this year. Perhaps the more gratifying aspect of the news is that President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of an infrastructure support fund, ISF for states, as part of measures to cushion the effects of the petrol subsidy removal. Perhaps the application of this interventionist fund is a litmus test, Emeka, don't you think?
Yeah, but when Buhari was there was a presidential infrastructure support fund that was said to have handled some of these projects. So maybe this is, because I looked at the focal areas, you know,
yeah.
You have water resources, food, and what have you. So maybe this is an expansion of the mandate of that, of the existing presidential fund. So it's interesting too that the allocation, you know, the allocation has been running in spite of the lean times that the nation has been facing. Yeah, but I think much more than just allocation. There should be deliberate efforts to expand the economy. Because you see, when you're grappling with so much unemployment, I know creation of jobs is part of this, but they should not be, the fund should not just create ad hoc jobs. Like we had Shopee and all of those things that at the end of the day, just threw people into more misery. You took people, engaged them. In fact, some of them didn't even have any clear job description. You know, there were some of them that were lined up at the toll gate here and were directing traffic where you had LASMA and the police and road safety. So there should be clear job descriptions for these people. And the impact of these people, you know, injecting these people into the economy should be measured. So it should not also be another occasion, you know, to provide jobs for the boys. Just reward people, bring some people and throw them in, and you say you have created jobs. But rather, if you create value chains from all of these focal areas, you also have to really work with the private sector. It's
more about thinking out of the box.
No, you see, there isn't such a need to really think out of the box, because a lot of these things have been debated by the National Assembly, by the private sector. You've had successive summits, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, you know, organized by NESG, yearly summits. So just take all of these recommendations and then look at what the federal government, to the reports from the federal government, the IMF, the World Bank, put them together. There are areas where you put people into, and it will have a huge impact on the economy. You should not just, it's laudable that there are efforts are being made to create jobs, but also it should not be something restricted to party loyalists. Because you see governors in some states doing so. One particular state, the governor distributed oil palm and coconut seedlings, and these things were given to only party members. Meanwhile, lists were drawn from different families across the state. At the end of the day, people didn't get these things. So there should also be proper monitoring to make sure that these things, that the impact, the desired impact is achieved.
Yeah, Jide, so as Emeka is saying, throwing money at almost everything in our country has become a penchant, you know, a way of life. So he's saying, do more than throw money.
Actually, when you look at things like Shopee, conditional cash transfer and all that, they are not meant to be permanent. They are meant to cushion the effect of the pains that people are facing at that time. And what government can do government's big role is create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not for government to come, on its own, create those jobs. It's the environment that you create that is conducive for manufacturers, conducive for the real sector, that will stimulate growth. And when growth is stimulated, the jobs will be created. When someone suggested that, look, come up with a loan with a very generous repayment plan,
Yeah.
to give people 2 million each, maybe about 6,000 people, 2 million each. People who will give jobs to at least 3 persons.
Absolutely.
Each. You are creating jobs.
Yes.
There's a chain reaction.
Yes,
Yes.
you are creating jobs.
Yes.
It was suggested when this idea of the ridiculous 8K to 12 million families came up. People suggested that, no, why don't you do this?
Absolutely.
You will still spend less money, but you will be able to spread wealth around our people, create jobs. When people suggested that, okay, come up with service centers where people's vehicles can be converted from gasoline-fired engines to
Electric.
CNG.
gas-fired,
Oh, yeah.
CNG, compressed natural gas.
Yes.
Okay.
You are going to create, and when you bring in vehicles, maybe you are bringing in like 8,000 60-seater buses, for example, you are going to create jobs for conductors, create jobs for drivers, you know, and even
And
the
mechanics.
Even the
service
technicians.
centers. Yes.
Yeah.
I was going there. The service centers that you create for the purpose of servicing these vehicles, ensure that they are in tip-top shape at all times, just as we have with the Lagos and the BRT. You are creating jobs. So this infrastructure fund, one thing I must give credit to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the government, for getting governors to agree. Because naturally they should have shared all of that money. That's what the law says. We had applied the law in the past without common sense. Yes, governors confronted Okonjo-Iweala when Okonjo-Iweala and the then CBN governor were saying, let us save some of the money that we are making from this windfall on the rainy day. Let us save. When,
said no.
when oil prices went to even above $100 per barrel, they said no, that the Constitution says that all funds coming into the Federation account
Must be shared.
Must be shared. In truth.
Which is true.
In truth.
Section
That's what the law says.
Yes.
But that's why I said sometimes you have to apply common sense.
Yes.
When you check what Norway has in the Sovereign Wealth Fund, you will know that we have not started.
That's not the biggest.
Even Ghana, some countries that began saving into the Sovereign Wealth Fund after Nigeria, they've overtaken us because the commitment to focus on building up these boulders that we can use to defend our currency, they are not there. They are not there. Look at the situation that we find ourselves where airlines operating in our country, they can't repatriate their funds.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are the worst country in the world when it comes to that. It's all due to planlessness. So for them to have agreed that, okay, we just take 907 billion. The rest we will save. I think they need to be commended, because in the past, they will simply walk up to Goodluck Jonathan. The money in the SS crude. Oh yeah, let's share. Elections are coming. Let's share money from the SS crude. This is not fiction. This is what happened.
Of course.
We kept reporting.
Yes.
And we told them it was wrong. They took the federal government to court.
To court, yes.
Right up to Supreme Court. It was Supreme Court that brokered something like an out-of-court settlement.
Yes.
Because it was embarrassing. But those governors were saying, no, you must share. Oh, you must share. I mean, at the end of the day,
opinion is divided.
Everything we got, let's share. Let's share.
Opinion is
Come on.
sharply divided in the country, Emeka, as we sit here. about what to do with the funds, these funds we are talking about?
No, government has set it aside, has already said, okay,
Yeah,
we want to, this is what we want.
It's
But I'm not talking about...
It's not rocket science. You see, the issue, okay, for instance, look at the reports, the annual reports of the National Bureau of Statistics. Look at the things it has said. Agriculture has been the most thriving sector in Nigeria.
Of course.
For some years, for a number of years, oil is almost at the bottom of the ladder. Telecoms is somewhere at a commanding height. And then, so when you look at all these things, it's not difficult, it's not rocket science. You're not reinventing the wheel. For you to say, okay, look at these areas. How many value chains can we draw out from these areas? And then put people into them, such that it will be private sector driven, so that you don't turn it to a patronage matter. Just like Jide said, you know, what made all those Shopee things fail was that those people should have actually been trained in conjunction with this private sector and transitioned into lasting, into more permanent places.
There's no plan to transition.
But there's nothing.
It's just like N-Power now.
Yes.
When was the last time they paid N-Power people?
That's it.
They've not paid these N-Power guys for so long, and they are complaining.
Even the other fund, the other one that was launched by the former Minister of State for Labour, the Festus Keyamo, where they said public works program.
Yeah.
You see, these things, they give them to the private sector, but create the enabling environment such that even foreign investors will see that, okay, there is a ready workforce, trained workforce that we can tap into. We have maybe a jobs bank, data bank and all that we can tap into so that we can get people into jobs. It's not difficult.
Yeah, it is not.
You know what even excites me when I was looking at the details of this, what I would call windfall, because we've never had it this high. We know that removal of subsidy is the enabler of this humongous sum of money. But there are some interesting facts. The fact that income tax, called CIT, went up significantly in the month of June.
Yeah.
Oil and gas royalties went up significantly. And then import and excise duty. It suggests to me that taxation, because that is one area that we've not done well at all.
Well, yeah.
There are countries of the world that rely heavily on taxation. And when you fail to pay your tax, whether you are an ex-president or not, you go to jail.
That's it.
They don't joke with it. For them, the punishment is worse than even manslaughter. To refuse to pay your tax, it shows that you are not a good countryman.
Yeah.
So now, if businesses are doing well, we are stimulating growth. As you said, he wants to achieve a 6% increase in our GDP. That's why they are looking at agriculture, because agriculture is clearly the sector that gives us the highest.
I think
for far higher than telecoms. You know, so if we focus more on taxation, there's a lot of money. There are many Nigerians who refuse to pay tax, or they will simply bribe tax officials. They will give them yes, for that month they will not pay. There are a lot of them, even billionaires, making money off our country but refusing to honor their obligations.
All right.
So if we work hard on that, well, first and foremost, we create the environment that allows businesses to thrive. The people will pay more taxes.
Yeah.
Production will
the
grow
excitement
and will
is
get
that
better.
A new window is here. We'll take advantage of it.